Capital, influence, and cultural control are no longer gated by centralized television networks or legacy media institutions.
Right. They've been completely seized by decentralized nodes.
Individual content creators who are commanding audiences larger than entire nations.
And this isn't just entertainment. This is a massive reallocation of global wealth and attention.
Today, we are initiating a deep dive into the underlying architecture of this new reality. Based on the notes and research we've gathered, including some really incredible insights from a veteran Indian creator.
Someone who successfully navigated that brutal shift from traditional television to building a digital empire.
Exactly. We have an unprecedented look behind the curtain. We're going to deconstruct the exact anatomy of digital retention, the raw economics of the creator class, and the structural forces compelling every global business to effectively become a media company.
You're going to see how the battle for your focus is engineered down to the exact second.
So let's start with the foundation. What was the actual catalyst that moved us from traditional media to this hyper-fragmented digital landscape? And, why is this something you need to understand right now?
To really grasp the magnitude of where we are today, we have to understand the severe economic constraints of the old system.
The legacy media constraints?
Yeah. Traditional media was heavily centralized and strictly linear. The gatekeepers, the networks, the studios, they controlled all the distribution.
Right.
And because they controlled the distribution, your compensation was fundamentally capped by physical time slots and institutional budgets.
Meaning, if there are only 24 hours in a day, there's a hard limit on how much content can air.
And therefore, a hard limit on how much money can be made. The background we have on this Indian creator provides a perfect microcosm of that era.
Tell us about that.
Imagine being a 19-year-old television writer back in 2010, right? Writing scripts for a daily sitcom. The pay structure was incredibly rigid.
How rigid?
They were getting paid 12,000 rupees for a story, 12,000 for a screenplay, and 12,000 for dialogue.
Okay, so if they're grinding those out, what does that actually translate to at the end of the month?
If they pumped out 8 or 9 of these full packages a month, which, by the way, is an exhausting pace to maintain, it led to a paycheck of roughly 3.5 lakh rupees.
Wow. I mean, for a teenager in 2010, that is life-changing money.
Oh, absolutely. It actually matched what their father was making after decades in his career. But structurally, that was the ceiling.
Because you're trading your physical time for a fixed linear return.
Precisely. You could not physically write 50 scripts a month. Your brain and body would just give out.
Right. You eventually just run out of hours in the day. So how does the modern digital landscape break that ceiling?
It breaks it through the phenomenon of asymmetric returns.
Okay, break that down for us.
In the physical linear world, you put in 10 hours of effort and you get 10 hours of pay. It's a perfectly symmetrical transaction.
Yeah.
But decentralized media operates entirely differently.
Because of the algorithm?
Yes. Every single piece of content you place into an algorithm acts like a lottery ticket.
But a lottery ticket where you don't actually lose the money you used to buy it.
Exactly. There is zero downside risk. I mean, maybe a bruised ego if the video flops, but there is infinite upside potential. The returns are completely decoupled from the time invested.
We have a couple of great analogies in our research that highlight this perfectly, like the concept of going on 10 dates.
Yeah, going on 10 dates is a classic asymmetric bet. You might spend 9 evenings having incredibly boring conversations over coffee.
The input feels totally wasted.
Right, but that 10th date,
Yeah.
that one encounter might result in a lifelong partnership. The output of that single variable is massively disproportionate to the time spent.
Or even reading a book. There's a specific mention in our notes about someone reading The Obesity Code by Jason Fung.
A perfect example.
You spend, maybe 10 or 12 hours reading a book? That is a tiny, finite input. But the result for this person was a 58-kilo weight loss and a fundamentally altered life trajectory.
That is an asymmetric return. When you publish digitally, you are doing the exact same thing. You are no longer constrained by a broadcast schedule.
You're releasing nodes into a global network that operates 204/7.
Exactly.
But wait, if I'm understanding this right, the serendipity of going viral isn't just a lucky break then. It sounds like a math equation you can actually manipulate.
It is absolutely a mathematical probability. You are actively increasing your surface area of luck. A fascinating example from our research proves this, step by step.
Let's hear it.
Take the story of Ashish Shakya. He was writing a weekly humor column for the Hindustan Times. He decided to start posting those columns on Twitter.
Just repurposing the text.
Right. That consistent output caught the attention of the actress Kalki Koechlin, who followed him.
Okay, so a celebrity follow.
Nice, but does that pay the rent?
Not directly, but look at the chain reaction. That follow led to a direct message. That direct message led to a collaborative viral video.
And because of the sheer reach of that video, they secured an appearance on Barkadut's high-profile news show. And that television appearance caught the attention of major Bollywood actors like Arjun Kapoor and Ranveer Singh.
And ultimately, that exact sequence culminated in a massive, culturally defining live stadium event.
Yes, that is the pipeline.
That is insane. You literally could never map that out in a corporate boardroom.
Never. It was the structural force of digital distribution taking a small, consistent input, a weekly text column, and scaling it asymmetrically across multiple platforms and networks.
If you are finding value in this breakdown of how modern influence is actually constructed, make sure you hit subscribe. We are constantly mapping out these hidden global frameworks, and you won't want to miss where we go next.
It really is a completely different economic reality.
Let's escalate this, though. We understand the theory of asymmetric returns, but I want to push into the actual mechanics. How are these creators actually trapping our attention in real time?
That's the billion-dollar question.
And more importantly, how does that translate into actual cash? Because getting 1 million views is a great ego boost, but how does the financial architecture beneath it actually function?
The capture of attention relies on a very specific psychological contract. At the core of all digital retention is a concept we can call the oven moment.
The oven moment. Explain that.
To visualize this, think about those classic BuzzFeed tasty food videos that took over the internet a few years ago.
Oh yeah, the top-down cooking ones.
Exactly. The viewer is presented with a top-down camera angle. You see the raw ingredients. The dough is laid out, the cheese is sprinkled, the pepperoni is placed perfectly, the pizza is constructed right in front of you.
You see all the inputs.
And then it is taken off screen and put into the oven.
Yes, and you just sit there. I can't even tell you how many times I've been hypnotized by a video of someone making a giant, wildly impractical lasagna at 2 in the morning.
We all have. Because at that exact second when the pizza goes into the oven, a psychological hook is set. Your brain hates an open loop.
So the viewer stays, anchored entirely by the anticipation of the final golden shot.
You're waiting for that melted cheese pull when the pizza emerges. The oven moment is the implicit promise that something highly satisfying is going to happen if you just trade a few more seconds of your attention.
And we see that structural framework literally everywhere now, don't we? It's not just food. Every successful short-form trend uses it.
Absolutely everywhere. Whether it's the anticipation building up to a punchline with the viral moi moi audio on TikTok, or watching a screen recording of an AI tool being given a complex prompt.
You're sitting there staring at the loading bar, waiting for the digital pizza to come out of the oven.
You build anticipation, and then you deliver on it. If you master that psychological loop, you control retention.
Okay, but let's talk about the economic realities of that retention. Because getting people to watch a 30-second video sounds great, but does it actually generate serious capital?
The economics are incredibly brutal and heavily separated depending on the format. Most people completely misunderstand the financial value of a view.
How so?
There is a massive illusion surrounding short-form metrics versus the true holy grail of the internet, which is long-form content.
Break down the exact math for us.
Let's start with short-form video. The reels and shorts you scroll endlessly on your phone generate minuscule direct advertising revenue.
Give me a number.
You can engineer a perfect oven moment that captures 10 million views, and the platform payout might be an insulting 2,000 rupees.
Wait, 2,000 rupees for 10 million human beings watching your video? That is basically nothing.
It is nothing. Short form is purely a top-of-funnel mechanism for discovery. It is a billboard to get people to know you exist. It is not a direct financial engine.
So where is the actual capital?
The real capital is found in long-form retention, which is measured by RPM.
Let's unpack that term, RPM. What does that actually mean for the listener who isn't living in YouTube analytics dashboards?
RPM stands for revenue per mil. It is essentially the cash payout you receive for every 1,000 monetized views on your video. Think of it like renting out prime digital real estate to advertisers.
And what are the going rates for that real estate?
Depending on the premium nature of your audience, an RPM can range drastically from $50 to $150.
Why such a massive range? Why would one creator make $50 and another make $150 for the exact same number of views?
Because not all attention is valued equally by the market. If you are creating gaming content, your audience naturally skews younger. They have less disposable income, less purchasing power.
So the advertisers bid less.
Right, advertisers know this, so the RPM is lower. But if you are producing high-level financial analysis or real estate content, the underlying purchasing power of the person watching is massive.
That makes sense.
A software company selling a $10,000 enterprise tool is willing to pay a massive premium to get in front of that specific viewer.
So if I want to make, say, $1 million a year strictly from this digital ecosystem, ad revenue, and brand deals, what does the scale of that actually look like?
To generate $1 million annually, you need to be consistently pulling in roughly 25 to 30 million long-form views every single month.
That is staggering. That's a medium-sized European country tuning into your channel every 30 days.
It is, which places you in the top 0.1% of creators globally.
Yeah.
It is an incredibly elite tier. But here is where the leverage truly kicks in. There's a massive difference between what the platform pays you through automatic ads and what the open market will pay you directly.
How so?
If a creator reliably gets 1 million long-form views per video, the automatic AdSense payout might be around 1 lakh rupees on the higher end. However,
Let me guess, the brand deals are where the multiplier happens.
exactly, because that creator has captured highly engaged, retained human attention because they have built a deep level of trust with their audience, they can turn around and charge a corporate brand anywhere from 15 to 40 lakh rupees for a single integrated premium advertisement.
The view count gets you in the room, but your perceived authority dictates your ultimate financial leverage. Okay, this pushes us far beyond the realm of the individual teenager making videos in their bedroom. If human attention is the ultimate global commodity, how are massive corporations and direct-to-consumer brands absorbing this? Are they just trying to copy this formula to sell more credit cards or food?
It goes way deeper than just selling a product. For global brands, producing high-level content is no longer a marketing tactic. It has become an organizational imperative.
So it's not just about the marketing department anymore.
No, the traditional corporate mindset views content as an advertising expense. You run a campaign in December to boost end-of-year sales, and then you turn it off. In the modern attention economy, content is infrastructure.
Infrastructure, like servers or supply chains.
Exactly. Let's look at the second-order effects of a brand building a highly engaged digital media presence. Companies mentioned in our research, like Zomato, Cred, and The Whole Truth, aren't just selling food delivery or credit card payments.
What are they building then?
They are actively engineering cultural relevance. When a brand consistently produces killer, entertaining content, it radically transforms human capital acquisition. It creates what we call an aspirational workplace.
Meaning people actually want to work there because the company seems cool.
Yes. The smartest, most elite, creative, and technical talent in the country sees that output and decides, I want to be part of that ecosystem. This drastically lowers the financial cost and friction of recruiting top-tier talent. You don't have to hunt for them. They come to you.
That makes sense, but it also fundamentally changes the internal psychology of the people who already work there, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There is a third-order effect here that traditional return on investment metrics completely miss. It is the internal net promoter score of the employees.
Explain that. What does an internal net promoter score look like in practice?
Imagine you work for one of these culturally relevant companies. You are sitting at home on a Saturday, and in your private, encrypted WhatsApp group with your friends, someone shares a viral piece of content.
Produced by your company.
Right. They say, have you seen this? This is incredible. And you get to reply to that group, I work there.
Oh, wow. The social currency of that is massive.
It is immeasurable. You cannot buy that level of pride with traditional performance marketing. Employees who feel that level of cultural validation output at 120% productivity.
Because their identity is tied to the brand.
Exactly. They care deeply about the execution of their daily tasks because the brand's public identity is now directly tied to their personal social standing among their peers.
But to execute that, a corporation cannot just hire a traditional ad agency, right? A billboard marketer isn't going to know how to engineer an oven moment. So what does the structural blueprint for a corporate media engine actually look like?
The blueprint is surprisingly lean, but highly specialized. You don't need a sprawling 50-person department. You need a concentrated pod.
What's the makeup of that pod?
The most effective architecture is a strict 5-person team. You need a brand custodian or producer, someone who holds the ultimate judgment on what fits the company's voice. You need a presenter, the on-camera talent, who builds the parasocial relationship. You need 2 highly capable video editors, and you need dedicated production gear. That's it.
Just 5 people running the entire cultural output of a massive brand.
Yes, but the critical insight is that the people running this pod should ideally be creators themselves. People who have built their own distribution channels in the past and intimately understand the visceral feedback loop of the internet.
Because a traditional manager would just treat it like a TV spot.
A corporate marketing manager who has only ever bought magazine spreads will fail because they don't understand the cadence. Content is an always-on operation. It is 365 days a year. You cannot half-measure your way into cultural relevance.
Which brings us to a crucial tension point regarding the future trajectory of this entire system. We are talking about an ecosystem demanding constant 365-day output. The market is becoming hypersaturated.
Yes.
You have everyone from individual teenagers to multinational corporations battling for the exact same resource or focus. What is the psychological toll of this, and where does this algorithmically driven landscape actually go over the next decade?
To understand the future, we have to confront the psychological trap that sustains the attention economy today. The algorithm itself. Platforms have largely abandoned chronological feeds.
Right. Just because I subscribe to a channel doesn't mean I actually see their videos anymore.
Exactly. The platforms now serve purely interest-based, variable recommendation algorithms. They decide what you see based on millions of micro data points of your past behavior.
And for the creator, that must be terrifying.
It creates an environment of terrifying instability. They never know if their next video will reach 10 people or 10 million.
So how do the platforms keep these creators producing free content if the distribution is so unstable and unpredictable?
To explain that, we have to look at a rather chilling behavioral psychology study from our notes, the Stanford Water Restraint Stress Test.
Okay, brace yourselves for this one.
Researchers took rats and placed them in vats of water. If left entirely alone with no hope of escape, the control group of rats would eventually succumb to exhaustion and drown relatively quickly.
That's awful.
But the researchers introduced a variable group. For these rats, they would temporarily pull them out of the water, dry them off, let them rest for a few minutes, and then plunge them back into the vat.
That sounds incredibly cruel.
It is. But the result is what matters here. Those rats that were given momentary reprieves, a sudden, unexpected rescue, would paddle frantically for 5 days straight.
5 days, just treading water.
Yes. They didn't survive that long because of some hidden physical endurance. They survived because of the engineered expectation of hope.
They believed that at any moment the hand might reach down and pull them out again.
That is a staggering and genuinely terrifying analogy for the modern digital ecosystem.
It is the exact mechanism of the attention economy, isn't it?
It is the dark power of the variable reward. Platforms design their algorithmic distribution to occasionally reward creators with massive asymmetric spikes in viewership.
So a creator might struggle for 6 months.
Feeling like they're drowning in obscurity, getting no views, and then suddenly one video hits 10 million views out of nowhere.
And that single viral hit is the hand pulling them out of the water.
Precisely. That variable reward provides enough psychological hope to keep them on the content treadmill, paddling relentlessly, producing inventory for the platform, deeply believing that the next massive hit is just one upload away.
And as we look forward, technological acceleration is removing all the friction that used to slow that treadmill down. The barrier to entry isn't just lowering, it is evaporating.
Rapidly. The physical and digital friction of production is dropping to near zero. We see this in the hardware advancements shifting the industry right now.
Give us an example from the source material.
Take the OnePlus Open smartphone. It integrates dual-view cameras. A producer can film the presenter, and because of the foldable screens, both the person behind the camera and the person in front of it can simultaneously see the active framing in real time.
That immediately cuts down production time.
Eliminates the need for external monitors and removes communication friction entirely.
It's getting ridiculously easy to make this stuff. The technical hurdles that used to stop people are just disappearing.
But the software leaps are where the paradigm truly shifts. Think about AI generation. The notes highlight things like the OnePlus AI Music Studio.
How does that change the game?
Historically, if you wanted a custom soundtrack for a high-end video, you needed a composer, studio time, or a hefty licensing budget. Now, a user simply inputs a text prompt, like EDM, under the city lights, and the AI instantly generates a bespoke, fully produced audio track and an accompanying visual video.
So if AI and advanced hardware can do all of that flawlessly in 10 seconds, what is actually valuable anymore? When the cost and effort of raw production fall to absolute zero, the market is going to flood with infinite, technically perfect content.
It will. And when everything is technically perfect, technical perfection loses all its value. The only remaining moat, the only true differentiator for a creator or a billion-dollar corporation will be their taste, their unique human judgment, and the depth of the authentic relationship they have cultivated with the audience.
If you are listening to this and mapping out your own strategy, I want you to head down to the comments right now. As AI drives the friction of media production down to absolute zero, what do you believe will be the single most valuable human skill in the next 10 years? Is the democratization of media empowering us, or simply trapping everyone in an algorithmic rat race? Let's debate this in the
This is
comments.
going to be the defining question of the next decade.
To synthesize everything we've uncovered in this deep dive, the attention economy is not just a casual landscape of entertainment that we tap into when we're bored. It is a ruthless, highly structured global ecosystem.
Built on asymmetric returns.
Exactly. It is governed by the mathematics of asymmetric bets. It is engineered by deep psychological triggers like the oven moment. And it is sustained by the grueling mechanics of variable algorithmic rewards.
All working together to extract value.
We've spent this time analyzing how elite creators and massive corporate entities are optimizing every single frame of their output to capture human attention. But the ultimate takeaway for you isn't just a blueprint for building a media empire. It is the sobering realization that your daily granular focus is the exact currency being aggressively mined by these systems.
You are the resource.
The next time you find yourself pausing your day, staring at a screen, waiting for the oven moment in a 30-second video of someone making a giant pizza, I want you to ask yourself a very serious question. Are you the consumer of this content, or are you the commodity being packaged and sold?
A phenomenal question to leave on.
If you value these uncompromising, long-form breakdowns of the structural shifts defining our world, make sure you like this video right now. Subscribe to the channel to ensure you stay ahead of the curve as we continue to dismantle the hidden architectures governing our future.